الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تمسك بهديه إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Imran, what did we speak about last night? Khalid, what did we speak about last night?
I was not here.
Khalid, what did we speak about last night? Abdul Hakim, what did we speak about last night? Kaif. It's deep. All the youth, no one was here last night? What's your name, Akhi? Your name? Shabil. You weren't here. Tayyip. How are you to succeed if all the youth are absent and missing?
I think a lot of people didn't know there was a class last night, that's why.
Perhaps.
That is my excuse.
That's your excuse. Tayyip. Khairan, inshallah. Brother Shabil helped you guys out. Tayyip. So, what did we speak about last night? Those who were here. Abu Naila.
About Dhul Hijjah, the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah in general, or specific what to do, etc. On the three main things to do and what is the virtues of these 10 days, etc.
Khair, inshallah. Ahsant. Before we get started, Abu Sa'id, see if you find a book of slaughtering in that book that you bought today. We spoke last night also Sunday night, after a brief fa'idah after the salah, on one of the books that we advise the brothers to have in their possessions, and also the sisters, and the books you should read and study and have in your home, which is called Mishkat al-Masabih. Mishkat al-Masabih. And we explained that this book is by At-Tibrizi, rahimahullah, from the ulama of hadith, approximately of the 7th century, perhaps, if my memory serves me correct, which is a summarized version of a bigger book, coming from Masabih al-Sunnah, coming from Sharh al-Sunnah, not Sharh al-Sunnah al-Barbahari, another type of Sharh al-Sunnah, with a whole different meaning. So this book here is a 2-volume translation by Abdul Hamid Siddiqui. It says translated and annotated by Abdul Hamid Siddiqui. On the topic or the cover of the book, it doesn't say who wrote Mishkat Masabih, which is, they definitely should have put the name of the author on the copy of the book instead of the name of the translator. However, Allahu A'lam, I don't even think it has a biography of the author in the book at all. That's amazing. Beyond amazement. However, this translation is okay, alhamdulillah. It's pretty good. There's a third translation that we are in the process of getting shipped in the library. And if the books take too long, then we will have to buy the book again, which is the best of the 3 translations. Khair, inshallah, but definitely a book that you want to have in your possession, which has 9 out of 10 times of the hadith that you're looking for on a topic in here. What's sahih and what is da'if, all in one place. Khairan, inshallah. Last night we spoke on the first 10 days of the month of Dhul Hijjah. Some of the virtues, the things that you should stay busy with during those days, and the goals that you should have, and the realistic objectives that you should make. And the importance of making a sincere repentance, the importance of making a firm, resolute intention on taking advantage of these days, and the importance of staying far from acts of sin during those 10 days. We promised that you would speak today on Al-Udhiyyah or Al-Adahi. The Eid is coming up, Eid al-Adha, sacrificial slaughter. What we want to talk about before we get into Eid al-Adha, we wish to discuss the concept of slaughtering in Islam. Before we talk about al-Adha, because that's something specific, or that is a smaller ring or circle inside of the bigger ring and circle of slaughtering. And slaughtering is a smaller circle inside of the bigger ring of foods. Of what? Of foods in Islam. Everybody understand this? Hunting, slaughtering, aqiqah, udhiyyah, slaughtering, everybody clear on this? All a part of the chapter of what the ulama called Kitab al-At'imah, the book of foods. Kitab al-Hadi wal-Adahi. When you make Hajj, you offer the sacrificial animal as a part of your Hajj. If you're making tamattu or etc. We're not getting into the fiqh of Hajj right now. These are all smaller concepts, a part of the bigger understanding of what? Food. So everybody clear on this? So before we get into the udhiyyah and the aqiqah, let's speak about the rules of slaughtering. A few years back we did a class on this in Masjid al-Ansar. I don't know if any of you guys remember. With Brother Najm, we spoke on this, The word for slaughtering in al-Islam, in the Islamic sense, is al-Zakah. Al-Zakatu. Al-Zakatu. Just like you say al-Zakah or al-Zay. Al-Zakat. Or intelligence. Zakah. Zaka'un. We have Zakatun. Bab or Kitab al-Zakah. That is that's one of the proper Islamic legislative terms for slaughtering, and not always necessarily dhabiha, or as we commonly say, zabiha. Or as the brother said the other day, you can go to Brother Fulan's restaurant, it's really good food, good prices, and it's zabiha halal. You have the halal, and then you have the zabiha halal. Yani, the best of the best, the permissible of the permissible. Slaughtered permissible foods. There lies no doubt, like Abu Usama al-Dhahabi said, waves of confusion. He wasn't speaking about the book of foods, he was talking about other issues. I'm coining the term that he mentioned. Waves of confusion. And da'wah, and aqidah, sharh sunnah, bid'ah, this, is it a mashir or musalla, tazkiyah, tasawwuf, ruqyah. You can't burn sihr. You have to call somebody who's knowledgeable. 1-800 sihr busters, Abu Naila. Wallahi, there's so many waves of confusion among the people today. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. There's no doubt about that. People who are just plain right out ignorant. That's one problem. And that is a battle that has to be fought. You have to exert efforts in battling ignorance. Just like a person wishes to eradicate illiteracy in a country. It takes a lot of planning, logistical planning, money, schools, teachers, funding, programs for men and for women, going and reaching those rural villages and combating what? Illiteracy. So battling ignorance is a tough job in itself. And then you have a job which is even tougher and worse, when you have people who know a little, who studied a little, who know a little Arabic, who went overseas, and they are confused. They think that they know, but in reality they don't know. And that's a problem. And then they teach the layman people, and that's even worse when a layman person who didn't study, who does know Arabic, he hears a word, he hears a term, Fulan is my sheikh in the masjid, he doesn't call to the ulama, blah, 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 blah. Waves and waves of confusion. So how do we reach the haqq in fiqh? How do we reach the haqq? What is zabiha? What is halal? What is permissible? What is impermissible? This issue in itself is waves of confusion. Am I making this up? This mufti says, no, haram, you can't eat it. The next one says, yes, halal, you can't eat it. Some Muslims, all they focus on is the food, zabiha. This is not zabiha, brother. It's not certified. But when it comes to riba, praying like the Prophet ﷺ, your wife, your daughters, none of them wear hijab. They go out the house uncovered. Their hair uncovered. Their bodies uncovered. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. The beard, shaven. The pants beneath the ankles. However, zabiha is the number one priority. So where does the Islamic knowledge for zabiha come from? Where does the need and the necessity for adhering to the Islamic rulings come from in zabiha, but not in riba, and not in the other aspects of the deen, making salah in congregation, prayer. This is a mushkila. And then there are others who don't care about what food they eat. It doesn't matter, Christian, Jew, slaughtered, hit in the head, electric shocked, put in freezing cold water, put in boiling water, electrified, it doesn't matter. They're Ahlul Kitab, That's what Sheikh Funan said. We're in America, and that's all that matters. Bismillah, you can eat it. They're Jews and they're Christians. Confused. But when it comes to other issues of the religion, such as the beard, such as hijab, thobe, such as bid'ah, who's a person of innovation, who's not a person of innovation, the ulama, give the ulama their rights. I want you to keep it, Abu Saeed. You hold it. Give the scholars their rights, which is an Islamic principle. You find them holding fast to these things like this, iron fist. But other aspects of the deen, they have no concern. And they are totally lax and nonchalant when it comes to what they eat. And that's a mushkilah. The concept of the food, zabiha, halal, or some ignoramuses do, zabiha versus halal, and this and that, and all of that foolishness and buffoonery, this is nothing but an example of the contradiction that many of us have with us, of the hypocrisy that many of us have with us, and of the confusion that many of us suffer from. Why are you so strict when it comes to one thing, but so far lax when it comes to the next thing? Many of us, we lack balance. And it's not just a little bit. It is a severe, gross lack of imbalance, as the poet said. So like elephants and ants on a seesaw. It's not shway like, no, like this. And that's a big problem. It's a huge problem. So we have to be careful. And I'm speaking to myself firstly. So one of the ways of finding out the truth and busting and breaking through these walls of misguidance and misconceptions and confusion, waves of confusion, is to study, and not just to study, but to study in the proper manner and go to the old classical books before the Muslims lived like they live today. What did the ulama say about dhabiha or zabiha before there was secularism? What did the Muslims say about zabiha before there were all these groups and sects and parties and schisms? What did the ulama say about slaughtered foods before there was the internet, YouTube, Huda, Peace TV, all of these different modern means of media, which are from one aspect a blessing, and from another aspect they are a terrible calamity upon the Muslim Ummah. Terrible calamity. And not just the Muslim Ummah, but all aspects of life. We don't want to get into that right now. And back in the day, you had to do something, you had to go out and do it out of your home. You had to leave your house to buy something, to purchase something, to come across something. Now you can sit in the convenience of your home and have access to all types of things. And similarly, those who had knowledge, those who had studied, those who spoke, they had to have platforms. Nowadays, I can be ignorant. I've never studied. I'm stumbling over the Arabic language. You listen to 10 minutes of my lecture, how many mistakes? 10 mistakes in 5 minutes of the lecture. Anybody can get on the television, use a camera, and speak. And have access to all types of people. In the East, in the West, in the North, and in the South. That's a problem. So everybody and their mother talks about what is haram, what is halal, what is zabiha, what is not zabiha. Can't eat this crown chicken, can't eat there. That's not permissible. The knife can't have serrated edge. You have to make wudu on the chicken before you slaughter it. What is the solution? Let's go back to the classical works of the ulama. Let's go back to the books of the sunnah. What does the hadith say about slaughtering? Last night we were asked, the brother from the UK. He says, my family says women can't slaughter. It's haram for women to slaughter. I have confusion in my house. What is the solution? What did the Prophet say about a woman slaughtering? What did the early ulama say about the woman slaughtering? Before you had these ignorant pop-up recyclable muftis that just come up and do lectures and talk and mislead the people who don't know their foot from their earlobe. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. So this is a big issue, and it's not just about zabiyah. All aspects of the deen, we have to break through these waves of confusion. However, the people who will, quote unquote, see the light and will understand the true value of knowledge from its proper sources and the proper way of studying and learning and teaching it, only a few. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from them. Ameen. Tayyib, inshallah. So therefore we have certain terminologies, one of them, or certain terms, one of them is al-zakat. One is al-dhabh. One is al-nahar. One is al-aqr. One is as-sayd. These are all terms that will be used in this session and in the following session bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-zakat, al-dhabh, al-dhabiha, al-nahr, al-aqr, as-sayd. Slaughtering, cutting, slaying, hunting. Everybody clear on this? Khair, inshallah. Abu Sa'id, what do you have?
The types of sacrifices that are forbidden.
That's the first concept of the slaughtering in the book.
Yeah.
Right, from reading from Muwatta of Imam Malik bin Anas. Fadl.
Yahya narrated from Malik, from Amr bin al-Harith, from Ubayd bin Faruz, from al-Bara bin Azib. Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, asked one of the forbidden types of sacrificial animals. He then pointed with his hand and said, there are 4 types of sacrificial animals that are not permitted to be sacrificed. Al-Bara pointed with his hand and said, yet my hand is shorter than that of Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. These types are a lame animal which obviously limps, a one-eyed animal which has obviously lost the sight of one of his eyes, a sick animal which is obviously sick, and a lean animal which has no marrow.
This is talking about the Udhiyyah. Animals that you are not allowed to sacrifice. You can slaughter them, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, to eat. But as the sacrificial offering, the animal sick, weak, limping, broken horn, things like this, unlawful to eat. Everybody clear on this? Tayyib, continue, Sheikh.
Number 2, Yahya narrated from Malik, from
Yahya. Error in translation.
Yahya narrated from Malik, from Nafi, Abdullah bin Umar, radiallahu anhu, avoided slaughtering the sacrificial animals which were skinny and had physical defects. Malik said, this is the best type of what I heard.
Tayyib. So we see the book of Malik is not just narrated from the Prophet, but this is narrated from who? Who? That was Abdullah ibn Umar, what he used to do, which gives you further clarification of the hadith, understanding of the hadith, and to show you that it wasn't something that was specific to the time of the Prophet. That's a long issue and debate in itself. Tayyib. Number 3.
Chapter 2, it goes into chapter 2, types of sacrifices that are light.
Tayyib.
Yahya narrated from Malik, from Nafi, once Abdullah bin Umar, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, sacrificed an animal in Medina. Nafi said, so he asked me to buy him an excellent horned ram, and then slaughter it on the day of Eid al-Adha, the feast of sacrifice. And in praying place, Nafi added, then I did so, and then the ram was carried to Abdullah bin Umar, and he shaved his head when the ram was sacrificed, while he was sick and had not witnessed the Eid feast prayer along with the people. Nafi said, Abdullah bin Umar said, shaving heads is not obligatory on the one who has sacrificed, yet Ibn Umar did it, shaved his head.
Tayyib.
Next. It goes into chapter 3, prohibition to slaughter the sacrifice before the departure of the Imam. Yahya narrated from Malik, from Yahya bin Sa'id, from Bushar bin Yasir, Abu Burda bin Nair slaughtered his sacrifice before Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sacrificed on the day of Eid al-Adha. He claimed that Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, commanded him to sacrifice another animal. Then Abu Burda said, I found none but a 6 to 10th month old sheep. Thereupon Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, sacrifice in case you do not find but a 6. If you do not find a sheep, and then it's in quotation, 6 to 10-month-old sheep.
We're going to get into that. How many issues have come up in your mind so far, just by reading? How old does the animal have to be? Is it permissible to shave the head? Is it from the sunnah? As we say all the time, like it's not a condition that you understand every single thing. But when you read more, especially the books of hadith without the explanation, it increases your appetite. You want to learn more. And one of the ways that a teacher knows that a student does not read sufficiently is the lack of his or her questions and the lack of preparation for the class. As one of my teachers in Islam University in Medina used to tell us in my first year, he says, I know that you guys don't go home and prepare for the class. I know that you don't review for the class, because if you did, you would come, you have hundreds of questions, problematic issues, things that you don't agree with what I said and taught you. The moment that you sit there and you don't have those things, it proves that you're not reviewing and you're not preparing. We said this before, a student of knowledge should prepare before the lesson. If you know the class is on Durar al-Bahiyya, Lu'lu Marjan, Bulugh al-Ma'an, whatever, prepare, read the information before you come to the class. Write down things you didn't understand. Please explain this more. What's the proof for this? What's the dalil for that? Is this ijma'? Is Shawkani the only one who have this view? So the more you read, it leads you to more questions. Tayyib.
Yahya narrated from Malik, from Yahya bin Sa'id, from Abad bin Tamim, Uwaymer bin Ashqar slaughtered his sacrifice before the early morning prayer of Eid al-Adha. When he told Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam about that, he commanded him to slaughter another animal.
Tayyib.
Chapter 4, saving the meat of sacrifices. Yahya narrated from Malik, from Abu Azubair al-Makki, from Jabir bin Abdullah, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited eating the meat of sacrifices after the passing of 3 days. Then he said, eat the meat of sacrifices, give some as charity, provide for yourselves, and keep some in reserve.
Continue.
Yahya narrated from Malik, from Abdullah bin Abu Bakr, radiyallahu ta'ala an, through Abdullah bin Waqid, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited eating the meat of sacrifices after the elapse of 3 days. Abdullah bin Abu Bakr said, therein I mentioned so to Amra bint Abdul Rahman, when he said the truth, for I heard Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha saying, during the lifetime of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a group of Bedouins attended the moment of sacrifice on the day of Eid al-Adha. Therein Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, store away the meat of sacrifice for 3 days and offer the remainder as charity.
Ahsant. Imran, go get Sunan Abi Dawood. Tfadal, keep reading Abu Sa'id. La.
She added afterwards, it was said to Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people used to make use of their sacrifices, melting its fat and making water skins from its hides. Then Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam wondered, why do you say so? They said, as you forbade eating the sacrifices after the elapse of 3 days. Then Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I have forbidden you due to the dafa who came to you. So eat the meat of sacrifices, so give some as charity and save some.
Tayyib. Continue.
What is meant by dafa is a group of needy people having come to Medina. Yahya narrated from Malik, from Rabi'a bin
La, I don't need it. I want you to get the whole set. Further.
Yahya narrated from Malik, from Rabi'a bin Abu Abdurrahman, through Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, that when he came from a journey, his family offered him meat. Then he said, verify whether this meat is from that of the sacrifice or not. They said, it is from it. Abu Sa'id asked, has not Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbidden it? They replied, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam has ordained a new command since you went away. Then Abu Sa'id al-Khudri went out asking about that when he was told that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I have already forbidden you from eating the meat of sacrifices after the elapse of 3 days. So eat of it, give some as charity, and store away some of it. And I have forbidden you from making wine, but now you are permitted to make it. But each intoxicant...
I have forbidden you from making?
I have forbidden you from making wine.
Tayyib, continue.
But now you are permitted to make it. But each intoxicant befogging the head is unlawful. Further, I have already forbidden you from, maybe it's a mistake, forbidden you from visiting the graves, but now you are allowed to visit the graves. And you must not utter obscene speech, meaning do not utter evil speech.
So is that a mistranslation, mistake, typo? I've forbidden you from making wine, but now make it? It needs to be looked into. Tayyib. Who's going to read for us in Arabic? Khalid, Iqra. Why are you so far back, Shamil? Nasif. Why are you far back? You're supposed to be the closest to me. This stuff we talked about how many years ago, Abu Hanif? Seriously. At least. Fadl Khalid. Iqra. Yalla. Jazakallah khairan. Make a mark of that hadith.
The first one. Babu Zakat.
You gotta raise your voice just a little. Why are you so far, Abdul Hakim?
This is the hadith right here.
It's not hadith.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Yeah,
We say sometime the lethargy of the student is due to the lax nature of the teacher. There's no doubt about that. Fadl.
يباح كل ما في البحر بغير زكاة يقول
I don't know what's you're looking at me. You have the book. We don't need vowels.
يقول لقول رسول الله
بقول
لقول رسول الله
رسول الله
صلى الله
عليه الصلاة والسلام
في البحر الحل ميتة إلا ما يعيش
إلا ما يعيش
في البر فلا
لا don't let. You will know the book? Come on us to the bookstore. Inshallah. Further.
في البر
فلا يحل حتى يذكى
إلا
السرطان نحوه ولا يباح
شيء من
بر
بغير زكاة
صح
إلا الجراد
وشبهه طيب أحسنت عبد الحكيم اقرأ ويستحب. I want to hear every single vowel sound on the page.
والزكاة تنقسم
تنقسم ثلاثة
أقسام نحر وذبح وعقر
ويستحب
نحر الإبل وذبح ما سواها
والذبح ما سواها
فإن نحر ما يذبح أو
فإن نحر ما يذبح
ما
يذبح
أو ذبح ما
ينحر فجائز ويشترط
كل
في الزكاة
للزكاة كلها ثلاثة شروط.
طيب شميو next.
أحدها أختي I can't read this. أهلية الزكاة وهو أن يكون عاقلا.
أهلية
الزكاة.
الزكاة؟
نعم. زكاة. ويا ألف مكسورة.
Spell out the word please. أهلية
الزكاة. نعم. وهو أن يكون عاقلا.
أهلية المذكي.
There's no مذكي.
There is. لا إله إلا الله.
سبحان الله اللهم استعان. وهو أن يكون
Never tell the teacher what it isn't there. أبدا. Even if it isn't there. فعلا. And the teacher is making a mistake, you say, I see this. I don't see the letter. No, seriously. I don't see it. Even if I'm dead wrong, you never say that. I don't see it. It's not clear to me. Could you please explain? But it's even worse when you say it isn't there and it is there. Now that's two sins. Now.
وهو أن يكون
And also, a smart student is one who picks up on the signal. I was sending you a signal that you were reading it wrong. Right, continue. وهو أن يكون
عاقلا قادرا على ذبح مسلما أو كتابيا فأما الطفل والمجنون والسكران والكافر الذي ليس بالكتاب فلا تحل ذبيحته والثاني أن يذكر اسم الله تعالى عند ذبح وإرسال
الآلة. Right. Ahsant. Practice. You guys gotta practice. You have to read a lot. Harder the better. Naam. Wallahi, you go to the gym, there's no difference. No pain, no gain. Naam. Yahya ibn Abi Kathir al-Yamani, rahimahullah, from the Tabi'een, he made this statement years before the West knew about that statement. He said, لا يستطاع العلم براحة الجسم. He says, knowledge is never obtained through relaxation of the body. This should be a slogan in the classroom, on the wall. Knowledge is not obtained through relaxation of the body. Imam Muslim, rahimahullah, he collected this statement in his Sahih in the chapter of Salah. After he mentioned the narrations about some of the night prayers, some of the ways to make these prayers, and he mentioned an abundant amount of those turuq, those isnads, he mentioned that statement. For what? One may ask. It has nothing to do with Salah. But in other words, Imam Muslim, he tired himself out. He exhausted himself. He traveled. He broke his back to get all of those narrations and put them in one place for you. And that's how real it was. He's telling you, what I went through to get this, you don't necessarily have to. So appreciate it. Knowledge is not obtained through relaxation of the body. Everybody clear on this? In other words, Ibn Qudama, rahimahullah, al-Maqdisi, the great scholar of Jerusalem, or that area, he wrote a book called Umdatul Fiqh. And this scholar, he died in the 6th century. He was from the ulama of the Hanbali madhab. And he wrote several books for his students. Some books were books for beginners. Others were books for intermediate students. And some books were for those who are advanced. And he also wrote books for ulama, mujtahideen.